Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Brazos Valley, or Brazos UU for short. My name is Pam Johnson. My pronouns are she and her, and I am serving as your worship assistant today. I come to this church because I can still wonder about my faith, about spirits and angels, without being required to follow a set doctrine. Today we will have a very special all-congregational Yuletide service as we give Reverend Christian a little break so he can relax and spend more time with his family. With open hearts, open arms, and open minds, we seek to make meaning, make connections, and make a difference. As a congregation, we celebrate and welcome people of any sexual orientation, race, age, gender identity, or ability who share our values. So whoever you are, wherever you have come from, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome and encouraged here. Honoring the value of spiritual freedom and diversity, we have no statement of doctrine. As a covenanted community, we agree to a set of principles that we all follow as we search for truth and how it applies to ethical living. Unitarian Universalism is a faith of covenant, not creed. This means the Unitarian Universalists seek and use wisdom from many diverse sources. We encourage everyone to visit our website, brazos-uu.org. During this time of pandemic and in the midst of our planned building project, the website and our weekly services are our church home. To learn more about our community and what is happening, you are always welcome to join our email list to receive updates from our weekly eCast and our monthly newsletter, The Latitudinarian. You can also find us on social media by searching UUCBV. For information about this, you can write to our administrator at admin, ADMIN, at brazos-uu.org. If you might like to contribute your musical talents, if you have a great story to share about your life's journey, or if you have a passion for social media, we would love to hear from you. If you are interested in getting involved, you can find opportunities on our website, brazos-uu.org. To join a meeting and have your voice heard by our members, you can find links to all of our meetings on our interactive website calendar by clicking on Calendar on our homepage or going directly to brazos-uu.org/calendar. Our service today is an all-congregational Yuletide service, with many of our members participating in varied ways. Thank you to all who contributed.
This reading is entitled, You Are the Holiday Miracle, by Gwen Matthews. As December opens up before us, we welcome in the gift of reflection. We turn towards our holiday celebrations and search for common threads of meaning. We begin with Yule, the winter solstice, and we are invited to explore duality, cycles, and seasons, and to witness the Holly King being overcome by the Oak King. Yule reminds us that we all partake in the miracle of renewal. Hanukkah, the festival of lights, commemorates a time of miracles when the faith of the Jewish people sustained them to reclaim their holy temple and keep the light of the menorah burning for 8 days. Christmas, the celebration of Jesus' humble birth in a manger, offers us a chance to revisit the miracle of birth and the desire to find saviors to heal the scars of humanity. Here in our own church, you are just as much a holiday miracle as the turning of the earth, as persistence and dedication to a faith, as the creation of each new life. We see the love you give to others, the space you create to hold one another's joys and sorrows, and the generosity and spirit you entrust to this community. You are the holiday miracle. This community is one of miracle makers.
Now I invite you to light your own chalice if you have one, as I light our chalice today. Please say our chalice lighting words with me. We light the chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, as a beacon of hope for all who seek justice, dignity, and compassion, and in celebration of the life of truth and meaning we share together. Now please join saying our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
O come, Emmanuel, and with your captive children dwell. Give comfort to all exiles here, and to the aching heart bid cheer. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as love to dwell. O come, you splendor very bright, as joy that never yields to might. O come and turn all hearts to peace, that greed and war at last shall cease. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as truth to dwell. O come, you dayspring, come and cheer our spirits by your presence here, and dawn in every broken soul as vision that can see the whole. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as light to dwell. O come, you wisdom from on high, from depths that hide within a sigh. to temper knowledge with our care, to render every act a prayer. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as hope to dwell.
One of my favorite poems during this Christmas time is A Visit from St. Nicholas by Clement Clark Moore. I volunteered to recite this poem, but it is so long. Did you know that it has 56 lines? I don't think I can do it myself. Is there anybody out there that can help me? Did I hear something? Well, let me just start and let's see what happens. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter.
Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below.
When what to my wondering eyes did appear, but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer.
With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be Saint Nick.
More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name.
Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen.
To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall.
Now dash away, dash away, dash away all.
As leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof.
As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had thrown on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack.
His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth.
And the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath.
He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf.
And I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread.
He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work.
And filled all the stockings, then he turned with a jerk, and laying a finger aside his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la. That's the way the old year passes, la 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 la. So hail the new ye lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la.
With just a few more days till Christmas, Santa and his crew were busy working overtime to help make children's dreams come true, singing carols and whistling tunes as the hours ticked away, except for little Edison, the elf that went astray. Instead of making toys in Santa's assembly line, Edison was out with Rudolph beneath a snow-capped pine. As Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus took a look around, they noticed that lazy Edison was nowhere to be found. They decided they had had enough. This elf simply should be fired. But then they scratched their heads and realized that another must be hired.
Dasher heard them talking and thought, this can't be so. Never in history has someone had to go. He searched the winter wonderland and under the northern lights. He found Edison and Rudolph, like on any other night. Dasher said, come on down here, you two. Your behavior is a disgrace. Christmas Eve is almost here. Someone else will take your place. Edison realized his days of slacking were done. There would be consequences for goofing off and having fun. He knew he'd have no home if Santa didn't let him stay. His heart began to pound as Rudolph ran away. He hurried as fast as he could to tell Santa he was wrong and to ask him for forgiveness so he would once again belong. As the other elves were caroling, Edison tried to sneak inside, but when Santa saw him coming, his eyes opened wide.
He placed his hands upon his hips and even shook his head. What am I going to do with you, my elf? Santa said. I see you when you're sleeping. I know when you're awake. Did you not read your history book? He sighed. For goodness sake. Santa soon forgave the elf because his heart is made of gold, and Edison became the hardest worker. At least that's what I've been told. The moral of the story is that we all must do our part. and jolly old St. Nicholas has always had a heart. Best wishes for a Merry Christmas that goes on to bring good cheer, and may your dreams come true as we welcome in a new year.
Desiderata is Latin for things desired. It's an early 1920s prose poem by the American writer Max Ehrmann. Although he copyrighted it in 1927, he distributed copies of it without a required copyright notice during 1933, then recopied in 1942, but he forfeited his U.S. copyright. It was largely unknown in the author's lifetime, but its use in devotional and spoken word recordings in 1960 and 1971 called it to the attention of the world. It was read to soldiers in World War II, and many ministers have used it in their sermons, and it has been used for many Christmas cards. Desiderata. Go placidly mid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be in good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is in many persons who strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly to the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortunes, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it's clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him or her to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the holy, noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all the sham and drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful and strive to be happy.
Siku ya Tamuli is the last day of Kwanzaa and the first day of the new year, January 1st. Historically, this has been for people of African descent a time of sober assessment of things done and things to do, of self-reflection and reflection on the life and future of the people, and of recommitment to their highest cultural values in a special way. Here is an African meditation prayer. Adu Ifa meditation. Let us not engage the world hurriedly. Let us not grasp at the rope of wealth impatiently. That which should be treated with mature judgment, let us not deal with in a state of anger. When we arrive at a cool place, let us rest fully. Let us give continuous attention to the future, and let us give deep consideration to the consequence of things, and this because of our eventual passing. May it be so.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
During this service, we are exploring different celebrations and activities that occur during the Yuletide. To different people, Yuletide means different things. For instance, have you ever heard of Three Kings Day? Three Kings Day, or Dia de los Tres Reyes Magos, is a very important holiday in Spain and in many Latin and South American countries. Three Kings Day is celebrated on the Epiphany that occurs 12 days after Christmas on January 6th. It is a time when the wise men, or the three kings, visited baby Jesus. I first experienced Three Kings Day when I was almost 5 years old. My mother grew up on a sugarcane plantation in Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico. My mom was the seventh of 8 children, and their first names all started with an E. There was Alida, Etta, Alina, Elsa, Emma, Evelyn, and Ernesto, the lone baby boy. My mother's name was Edna Pavone. The story is that her father owned many fields of sugarcane that, in midlife, he sold and then squandered all of his money. Like many of her extended family, Edna moved to New York City to live with her aunt in her early 20s to find a job and, more importantly, to find a husband. There she met and married my father, Peter Kearns Lashmet. The plan had been for him to help her with her English, and she would help him learn Spanish. But that did not occur because within a 3-year time span, Edna gave birth to 3 daughters. I was the second, and 2 boys would follow. We flew to Puerto Rico after Christmas in late 1963. My mother's mother was about to die, but she was holding on, waiting for Edna and her family to say goodbye. When we arrived, I visited my grandmother for the first time. She was lying in a bed outside of a small house on a dirt road covered with layers of blankets. I stood in line to wait for her. When I said hello, for some reason, her direct eye contact had a real impact on me. I would remember that my whole life. And even as an adult, I would feel that at different times she was next to me, just hovering behind me. Is that possible? I only met her once, never talked or wrote to her, but the feeling stays. A few days later, she died, and we were driving a Volkswagen Beetle in a long funeral procession. How did she time her death to occur during our visit that had been planned for weeks? I wondered. And my mother did the exact same thing, waiting weeks for my older sister and family to visit. She died the next evening. We mostly stayed in a hotel, but did stay at my mom's childhood home, an open window, concrete, single-story building with 2 bedrooms. Attached was a makeshift creaky hallway made on stilts, and we had to climb up a wobbly wooden ladder to sleep. I remember sleeping on a cushion on some type of a shelf covered with a thin hanging curtain. And yes, we had to use their cold, dark outhouse. During the visit, my mother explained to us about the 3 kings. She said that Santa didn't come to Puerto Rico. How could he? There was no snow. Christmas in Puerto Rico was celebrated mostly by adults, with the Christmas Eve midnight mass, followed by parties, family gatherings, and gift exchanges between adults. The children received their gifts on 3 Kings Day. So the evening of December 5th, we walked to the sugarcane fields, picked up pieces of cane, and left the pieces of cane, water, and sugar cubes under the elevated house for the camels. And the next morning, we had presents. We continued to celebrate 3 Kings Day every year in upstate New York until we became older. On the evening of December 5th, we would go out into the snow and ice, find some straw, and leave the straw, water, and sugar cubes for the 3 kings and their camels. And they would always come. Let it be so.
Hi, my name is Darby Lockridge, and I'm a pagan practicing Unitarian Universalist. I've been a pagan for over 20 years and a Unitarian Universalist for over 10 years. As an eclectic pagan, I celebrate Yule, or the winter solstice, in my home during this holiday season. My practice focuses heavily on the wheel of the year, or the seasons of the earth, celestial bodies, and their relationships with the earth and the beings on it. Ancient pagans paid close attention to the sun and to the moon, to the day and to the night, and marked the winter solstice, the longest night of the year, as the point where the moon would be at its fullest strength. Once this long night has passed, the sun slowly begins to take back a little more of each day as the seasons change, the wheel of the year turns, and the sun brings spring back with it. Yule altars are often decorated with familiar symbols of the season. Holly, mistletoe, greenery, and pine cones are all common aspects of the season and are regularly included in Yule altars. The colors that are brought into the home from these elements are familiar as well: red and green, gold and white. One of the most common ways that pagans mark the Yule holiday is with fire. Whether it's burning a Yule log, lighting candles, or having a large outdoor fire, this is seen as a way of remembering the sunlight and encouraging the light to hurry back and to bring life back to the earth and to the creatures that live on it. I'd like to wish you all a blessed Yule and share the following blessing. As the earth grows colder, the winds blow faster, the fire dwindles smaller, and the rains fall harder. Let the light of the sun find its way home. Blessed be.
Happy winter solstice. December 21st is the morning after the longest night and the shortest day of the year. It is the beginning of the waxing half of the year. From now until the summer solstice, the day will lengthen and night will shorten. It is the rebirth of light into our world, the day the promise is made that winter will come to an end. Now we can begin to plan ahead for the year and rest from activity while we contemplate our lives, our successes, our joys, our concerns, and to choose new seeds to plant in our lives for the coming spring. What goals and actions did not serve you in the last year? That is what you sacrifice to winter. That is what you leave behind. That is what you give to death. Forgive and make peace with it now. What seeds do you wish to plant in your life? What will you give your energy and attention to in the new year? This is the dream and hope of Yule, to begin again in joy and peace.
Come, they told me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, to lay before our king, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. So to honor him, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, when we come. Little baby, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, I am a poor boy too, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. I have no gifts to bring, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, best fit to give our king, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. Shall I play for you, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, on my drum? Mary nodded, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, the oxen lamb kept on, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. I played my drum for him, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. I played my best for him, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. Then he smiled at me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, me and my drum.
Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound's the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
Today, we moved the offering towards the end of the program so people would have more time to make an offering without having to miss part of the service. This church shares 1/2 of the proceeds of the offering plate donation every week to support important nonprofit organizations with which we work. We have extended our collection for the Brazos Valley Food Bank, which began in September, to February 2021, due to the great need for food for those suffering from unemployment and food insecurity. If you wish to make an offering, you can mail your check, or for your convenience, you can donate online. On our homepage at brazos-uu.org, you can find our mailing address at the bottom, and at the top, you will see Donate Here. In the chat box, you will see that link now. May each of us look into our hearts. How much love, how much generosity, how much faith, how much gratitude, and how much hope is there? We give thanks to these gifts we have given, for those we receive, and for each other.
Il est né le divin enfant, joué au bois, résonné, musette. Il est né le divin enfant, chantant tout son avènement. Depuis plus de 4000 ans, nous le promettaient les prophètes. Depuis plus de 4000 ans, nous attendions cet heureux temps. Il est né le divin enfant, joué au bois, résonné, musette. Il est né le divin enfant, chantant tout son avènement. Oh, qu'il est beau, qu'il est charmant, ah, que ses grâces sont parfaites. Ah, qu'il est beau, qu'il est charmant, qu'il est doux, ce divin enfant. Il est né le divin enfant, joué au bois, résonné, musette. Il est né le divin enfant, chantant tout son avènement.
soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lame, misfortune seemed his life. We got into a drifted bank and then we got upside. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Now the ground is white. Go it while you're young. Take the girls tonight and sing this sleighing song. Just get a bobtail pay, 2.40 as his fee. Hitch him to an open sleigh, and crack you'll take the lead. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Now please join me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we gather together again. Thank you.
Our benediction is adopted from The Ritual for the New Year by Joan Kahn Schneider. We pause now on the edge of the new year, an artificial beginning to be sure, but still a time to reflect. We glance back at past joys and sorrows. That what has passed can guide us toward what is yet to be. May we create for ourselves a year of blessing. May we renew our faith in the power of love to weather the winters of the heart and blossom and bear fruit in its season. Amen. Our worship service is over, and now our service in the new year begins.